Hey, what's up, guys? Gonna be doing a movie review today, and that is Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines. This came out in 2003. Once again, it stars Arnold Schwarzenegger as the T-800 Terminator. And Nick Stahl plays John Connor, along with Claire Danes and Christina Loken, who plays the TX, the Terminator. Was it Terminatrix? Is that what she is now? That's what they call it, but it's just short for Terminator, or Terminator X. That's what it is. This movie did really well. I mean, the budget was 187 million, but the box office was like 433 million. It did really well. This was probably the last really successful Terminator film. Probably because of how good the last two films. They were hoping, people were probably excited about this, and they went and saw it. So it probably did really well because of the reputation of the last two films. And from what my understanding is that somebody bought the rights. I don't know if it was Warner Brothers, or I don't know who bought the rights, but James Cameron no longer had the rights to Terminator. So what do? They don't really consult him. They just go ahead and make a movie. And it really shows that James Cameron is not involved in this because of the writing, mainly. It doesn't have that human element. It doesn't have that, layers or depth to it, a deep story like the first two films. So this, basically what this movie is just an action-packed film with, a story you can follow, but at the end of the day, you kind of just forget about it after you saw it. What happens in this film, John Connor is like in his 20s, he's living off the grid, and he's not optimistic anymore. He has his doubts, he has his fears that Skynet will still create the war between humans, and he's very, skeptical. He's very, he's not the John Connor he was in the second film. And that kind of like, it's like, how is he like this now? I don't know if it's because of the death of his mom, which, yes, Sarah Connor apparently died. It doesn't show her die on screen in this film because Linda Hamilton did not come back for this film, but they do mention her in this film that she passed away because of leukemia. So, I mean, 1997 is, past, and it's, no Judgment Day, but John still fears it, and he wants to reject his role, his leadership, to be, humanity's savior. He doesn't want any part of it. And it's like, how am I supposed to root for this character when he's changed like this? In the second film, he's not like that. He's kind of a badass, really. I mean, even for a kid that's supposed to be like 13, you know, that's how, you know, James Cameron writes. He makes these really strong characters. Makes them leaders, makes them badasses. I mean, Sarah Connor and John Connor. This John Connor, you can tell, you know, James Cameron did not write this. I mean, John is just like, you know, he wants to know, he really doesn't want to, you know, become a leader. He really just wants to, you know, have no identity. Really, he doesn't want to be a part of this. But, you know, this new Terminator X, TX, which is a female Terminator, which is like liquid metal, but she can also do things like with her fingers. She can control machines or manipulate machines or make them malfunction, cause problems. She can turn like her hand into objects where she can like saw something off or something. She's more advanced than Arnold's, you know, machine. And Arnold comes back, you know, to protect John, and Claire Danes, which her character, I believe her name is Kate, which Kate and John actually end up together. They eventually, you know, lead the resistance. They have kids. I believe they have kids together, and those kids eventually lead the resistance as well. So they're important as well. So that's why the TX has come, you know, from the future to the past. And I believe this is in 2003. This is supposed to be taking place, and she's trying to destroy them and their family members and anyone else that's involved with preventing Judgment Day. Because all they really did was they postponed Judgment Day. Even Arnold says to them, Judgment Day is inevitable. You just postponed it. That's all you did. So, I mean, Arnold's there to protect them. And that's pretty much that. I mean, and the thing is, John finds out because what happened, Kate, Claire Danes' character, in the future programmed Arnold's, you know, this new Terminator of Arnold, programmed him because originally he was designed to kill people. And what we find out is that he actually killed John Connor in the future. So she resets his program and has where he goes into the, you know, past through time travel and tries to protect him. And they're trying to say that Kate's father was the one who really, you know, even though Miles Dyson in part 2 was involved, there's more people involved in having where this Judgment Day would happen. With her father, he's, you know, part of the problem as well. It's just, you know, Judgment Day is, as Arnold says, inevitable. So that's what happens. There's a lot of action, a lot of fighting, and John just continues to say he doesn't want a part of this. At one point he points a gun to his head and says, "Fuck my destiny." He's ready to kill himself. He doesn't, I mean, that's the problem with this movie. Mainly, it's the story. I mean, it would have been okay if John was more optimistic, like the second film, but he's not really a character you can relate to in this film. He's basically someone who gives up, and it doesn't even make sense why he gave up. What did he give up because his mom died? I don't know, because they prevented, or at least postponed, Judgment Day. So why is he all negative? Why is he like acting like that, where he's pessimistic? I don't get it. Why is John acting pessimistic in this film? Doesn't make any sense for him to be acting like that. And he kind of acts like that in the next film, Terminator Salvation, where he acts pessimistic. But at least here it doesn't make any sense. I'm living off the grid. I have fear. Why? The way the second film ended, there was hope. No more Judgment Day, no more Terminators, nothing. Skynet, bye-bye. So why the hell is he like this? It doesn't make any sense. As a story, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, I guess it would make sense to have him like as character development as someone who doesn't really want to lead, and then at the very end of the film, which he does say he's going to take the responsibility and say he's going to lead. He's the leader of the resistance. The TX does something to Arnold, Terminator, Arnold. She does something to him which causes a malfunction, and he doesn't know if he should destroy John or protect him. He's got his wires all screwed up, and he's about to fail his mission. He's got John by the throat, just frickin' grip lock on his throat, ready to kill him, ready to smash him, destroy him, but he shuts down, then fights the TX, and she's terminated. And the thing is, the bombs drop. They have no way of preventing this thing from ever happening. So the bombs drop, Judgment Day happens, they're saved, but John has to fight against this thing. He has to lead the resistance, like the prophecy has been told. So that's how the movie ends, where it's like this is like a setup for a sequel, which I think that was what their goal was, to make a sequel with these same actors and everything, to have the future war. But something happened. I don't know what happened, but Terminator Salvation happened. I don't know what happened with that. Different actors and whole different situation. This movie is an entertaining popcorn movie because of the cool special effects, lots of action. Really, I like the action in it between Arnold and this new TX female. Both of them fighting. Cool scenes, really. I mean, the whole crane scene where Arnold is moving around hitting cars and hits a fire truck, or him and the TX, they're fighting in the bathroom, just pushing each other through frickin' bathroom stalls or through walls, or just total destruction. And these things are relentless. They still don't stop. They're still fighting with each other. It's really cool action scenes. And the special effects are pretty good. And the humor's okay too. Like the whole talk to the hand. I mean, I laughed at it. Okay? You know, Arnold, when he first comes to, you know, their time and he's naked and he has to go to some bar or some place to get clothes. He goes into an all girl night out type of place where it's male strippers, so he kind of blends in. So it's kind of funny. Just things that happens in the film. Just, you know, Arnold is really the best part about this film. Without Arnold, it really would be a different movie. He really is the saving grace of this film. Is it as good as the first two films? Absolutely not. Not with the story structure here. It's definitely not as good. But I do like the little humor, the interactions between him and John and Claire, and I like, you know, Arnold's telling Claire, Kate is her name, actually, relax. And then she shoots at him and he catches the bullet in his teeth and he spits it out. It's like, don't do that. Or when he, you know, pushes the TX down the elevator shaft, and he looks down and he's like, she'll be back. I mean, there's some funny lines here. The story could be a hell of a lot better. I mean, it's kind of silly at times. I mean, the Terminator X, she's looking at a billboard and there's a woman with big breasts and a cop just pulled her over, and so what does she do? She enhances her breasts so they get bigger so she can attract the cop. Stuff like that. It's like, yeah, maybe I mean, I think I laughed at it the first couple times, but after a while it's like, this actually is kind of stupid. So I don't know. I mean, it's just, you know, a lot of people try to ignore Terminator 3, Terminator Salvation, and Terminator Genesis, and that's okay. People only, when they think of Terminator, they only think of Terminator and Terminator 2, and that's it. Totally understandable. Because that's fine. These movies, and they're being ignored because of the new Terminator Dark Fate. That's supposed to be the official third film from the first two films. Because, you know, Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines, Terminator Salvation, and Terminator Genesis, they're completely ignoring those films. And, you know, Terminator deals with time travel, so, you know, they can actually get away with this. You know, the whole Halloween, you know, 2018 film, that doesn't make any damn sense. To ignore all those sequels. And the only one that they're not ignoring is the first film. That makes no damn sense. But at least with Terminator, they deal with time travel. Things can change. You know, alternate realities, alternate universes, different dimensions. They could go all over the place, but, you know, it's dealing with time travel, so they could get away with totally ignoring these films and getting back to the roots of Terminator with the same actors, continue on from the first two films. They can get away with that because it deals with time travel. So, anyways, this movie was I think the movie is a fun movie, so I'm just gonna give this movie 3 skulls. It's an entertaining popcorn movie that has flaws in its storyline, but it kept my interest. It's a nice looking movie, but comparing it to the first 2 films, it's not as good, but at least it's not insulting. At least I'm not insulted by this like I am with the RoboCop sequels and the TV series and all the crap that came out after the classic original RoboCop film. At least I can say Terminator films, or the sequels that followed after Terminator 2 Judgment Day, at least I can say I wasn't insulted by them. They just weren't as good as those first 2 James Cameron films. But at least I can say Terminator 3, Terminator Salvation, Terminator Genesis, at least I wasn't insulted by them. At least I could be entertained by them. So anyways, this is my review of Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines. Hope you enjoy this review, and I hope you guys have a good day. Alright guys, so take it easy. Talk to you later.